Hi, welcome to the channel where we provide an alternative view to the common narrative. Today I would actually like to talk about the Russian-Ukrainian war. And to be honest, there's nothing much to say. You know, the whole matter is being overshadowed by the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And the newspapers are full of that, but it seems to me then commentators lose interest, or the newspapers lose interest, or I don't know how they work, but suddenly nobody has time to think about the Ukrainians or the Russian war. People, you gotta a little bit wake up. Just because your attention is drawn to a different subject doesn't mean that something else has ended. The Russian-Ukraine war is gonna continue. In spite of being diverted, in spite of being the narrative that there are talks and the West wants to get out of Ukraine, and no. Is the US being capable of supplying two wars, the Israeli war and the Ukraine war? Yes, they say us. Really? I thought the US has no weapons anymore. They have no ammunition anymore. So what narrative is this now? Yes, like I always said, the Americans have enough reserves in terms of armament, missiles, ammunition, tanks, whatever you want to call it. They do have that. They just didn't want to give it. They didn't want to overcommit. But if necessary, they will provide it. And no, they're not going to provide the ATACMS missiles. But now they did. You understand? It's all the narrative. But the narrative constantly changes and it's bullshit. If they say there's no more money going to be for Ukraine, then they are bullshitting. There's going to be money. And Biden is now asking for $100 billion dollars to give, I think, 10 billion to Israel and 60 billion to Ukraine, and I don't know where the money goes. But anyways. Oh yes. So I read this article. So they asked him, but can America afford all this money? Because in the years of Biden has added $6 trillion to the national debt of the US. 6 trillion in 2 years. Right? I think 2 years, 2.5 years. 6 trillion. They are now sitting on 33. So they asked, oh, Yellen, can they afford it? Yes, they can afford it, no problem. But there's just, in spite of our full employment and a good American economy, with a 9% reduction in tax collectibles, America's economy is doing good and they can borrow the money, and in spite of that the amount of interest going to be paid on the is going to exceed next year the military budget. Imagine that. What is the military budget? $820 billion. So the interest that America has to pay on its loans is going to be more than $820 billion. But I wondered if you listen carefully to what I said. I said that they stated that the American economy is strong, that unemployment is at its lowest point. That's what the narrative tells us to do. But the collection of taxes is 9% lower than last year. Now, do you want to tell me that 1 + 1 is 3 or what? Or gonna make math? It's a simple thing. The more the economy grows, the more employment there is, the more salaries are paid, the more personal taxes are collected. The more people are employed, the more the company grows, the more turnover the company has, the more sales it has, so the more taxes they pay. So please explain to me that with an excellent economy that grows and has near full-time employment, the taxes can be reduced by 10%. 9,8. Please tell me how that works. The shit, then I must have failed my economy 101. And as an engineer, by the way, I did have economics subject for 6 months. That was part of our study. Funny, eh? But we're going to have a new election, and what did O'Donnell say? Salente? He said, yes, his candidate for America is JFK Jr. or what's his name? JFK Jr. or something like that. It's in the case of Kennedy Jr. He's his candidate. He's a guy. But what did this idiot do? When Hamas attacked Israel. And there goes my respect for this man as well. All of these idiots, they support Israel unconditionally. Now, if you support unconditionally a murderer, what does it make you? A supporter of murder. Kill them all. That be your motto then. But anyway, so when we have the new president in America, well, which will not be Biden. Oh, yes, what's his name? Haley as well. A presidential candidate for Biden's position. She also went there. Kill them all. Kill all the Palestinians. Palestinians must be killed. Hamas. Bad people. Israel. Good. So what you should actually say is bad to kill only 1,000 Israelis, but it's good to kill 4,000 Palestinians. That is what you do. Yes. 1 + 1 is 3. So coming back to this whole story about Ukraine and Russia, well, doesn't matter. All this talk about no money, no weapons for Ukraine is bullshit. Don't be fooled by this. I don't understand why people always constantly listen about this. They lie and they lie and they lie, but when they lie something that you like, then you accept the lie. As a fact. No, they have lied before, they are lying now as well. Don't listen to these idiots. They are lying. Isn't the saying that how do you know when a politician lies? Well, when he opens his mouth. Isn't that the saying? So, Ukraine conflict is going to go on until the people that are in power are gone. Meaning, and when people talk about Zelensky, Zelensky this, Zelensky that, he's a puppet. He's a puppet of the Americans, and he's a puppet of the far right, the right wings. He has a role to play. Yes, sometimes he makes decisions and so on, but hey, Martinov, what do journalists know about war and so on? Well, what does a comedian know about war? Nothing. So in any case, the Russians are moving, apparently. They are gaining ground consistently on a small scale until they probably break the backbone of the Ukrainians. But we will have to see. There's not that much news going on. The counteroffensive is in any case gone. Well, what counteroffensive in any case? So, but don't let it be bullshitted. The war will go on. Biden even confirmed it. We can't let them go. Because why? Again, why? Why is there no back door for the Americans or Europe? Why? There is no back door. Because if they retreat in Ukraine, they will lose the East. They will lose Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea. It is essential for them to stick it with Ukraine as long as possible. As long as they don't admit failure or they lost the war, it's fine. They can keep that conflict going on for 5, 10 years, doesn't matter. As long as the conflict is not ended, the war is not ended, and they haven't lost face. And Taiwan and so on can still believe when the US lies to them. And what's $100 billion in any case? They gave $43 or $47 billion now for weapons alone. But Afghanistan costed $3 trillion in 20 years. That's more or less 60 billion? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, more or less. No. What the hell? Hey, I'm stuck with my math here. 30 by 20 is 1.5. And the 50 billion. What's a little bit 40 billion? It's penny, man. On 2 years, I haven't even started spending, man. Come on. Any guys, so that's my story for today. Until next time. Cheers.